we talk about like this fantasy of the Packers getting Max Crosby, but then ultimately he signs an extension. Like, it's a fantasy, it's not going to happen. And that's the way I kind of looked at it as seeing a heel turn. Like,
Right.
yeah, we can fantasy book it, but they're not actually going to do a heel turn Cena on his farewell tour. Like, there's no way that Triple H has the stones to pull that off. And sure enough, he did. And it just adds a layer of intrigue heading into now the WrestleMania season that everything is starting to pick up and everything is starting to feel pretty fun and exciting.
And kudos to him, because if this is the final year, because I feel like you almost have to speculate now whether or not we will see more Cena after 2025. But
he's a heel. He can lie now. He can lie. The man can lie.
So he could have very easily just played the hits all year long, and fans would have cheered him, because we haven't seen him in long, and people are behind him now. Like, he would have gotten the support that for 20 years he's really looked for. He's like, no, I'm going to try something different. I'm a little worried that fans start cheering him, and maybe he's not like vicious enough heel because fans find it so cool, but still kudos for him for going this route.
Well, here's the problem. Like, and I'm willing to look over this because, again, the man's been the Guinness World Record for, for being a babyface the longest. The man doesn't know how to look mean and menacing.
Right.
Like, it turned into a meme all over social media. But to me, it's like a high school kid who's trying to look tough in his team picture. Like, that was like the mean mug that John Cena was giving us. Like, okay, all right, okay. You know what? Hey, my only note here is, okay, let's work on that face. Let's work on that face so you can become a little bit more menacing as the bad guy here with Dwayne as you guys start this build toward WrestleMania.
So I am curious also when we get to see that. Like, when are we going to see him next? I don't think it's tomorrow on SmackDown. I believe he's advertised for some European shows, but
I think that's it. I think I think the 14th. When's he? I think it's the 14th. So not next week, but the week after. I believe they're in Europe. So I think that's his first advertised show.
That's a long time. And they did a good job. The video package on Monday, but like, I feel like we need to get him out there.
Well, if I'm okay with him not being out there, but then The Rock has to be out there.
Sure.
So, like, if Cena's not there, like, in Rock in the presser had said something about, oh, he's off to do his real job now. It made that reference. And so I'm fine with him doing that and Rock coming out and explaining, hey, this is why. But again, it's going back to the old playbook from the Bloodline. Like, Roman didn't always need to be there. He had Paul Heyman to explain and keep those storylines going. You just had the hottest thing that I can remember in a long time, which is saying something given that some of the things that they've done with the Bloodline and Cody and all that over the last 2-3 years. You have the hottest storyline. To not be able to take advantage of that on Raw or SmackDown with some sort of live appearance by one of those two, it to me is going to be a huge miss. And that's how this momentum kind of comes to a halt. And that's the problem with booking if neither one of them can show up tomorrow night because they have other responsibilities, that's the problem of booking these two as heels that you want to show up and explain their actions, and yet they can't because of previous commitments. So that's how this thing can cool down.
100%. He's being advertised for March 17th, which is a Raw. And which is in Europe. And remember, the reports originally came to Raw going to Netflix. Those will air live during the day.
Okay.
And like whatever time zone you're in, it's going to air at, 1:00 Eastern just because they're over there. So he's advertised for a few Raws there. He's advertised for SmackDowns after Mania also. May 30th, June 13th, June 20th. So take that for whatever you want. I agree with you. I feel like even just a video package of them doing something backstage. We haven't seen one of those Rock promos on social media like we saw all of last year. Give me something like that. I'm fine waiting one more week, but we got to see something at least next week.